as you know, big events approach, sometimes big stories come out, and here we're chasing today, gotten comments on this strange story that's cropping up about John David Jackson and the Ward camp going back and forth about who called who and did John offer his services to Ward. What's your level of information on that and your feeling on it?
I wouldn't call it a big story so much as a made-up story.
But what's made up about the story?
What's made up is who approached whom. And what happened is, for some reason, Ward's camp decided that they were going to try to approach John to try to get him to leave Sergey and induce him to walk away, which I got to tell you, I've been doing this for 39 years this month. I have never seen that happen before. That's something. And John said no, and so they decided to come up with this story, and I don't know why. But I guess they're trying to create controversy, but we've all known about this for months. I knew about it back when we were at the press conference in Oakland, when I think Virgil kept demanding that, claiming that, you know, don't be so sure you're going to see John in June. And I was saying, Virgil, your plan didn't work. And I don't think people picked up on what we were talking about, but it didn't work.
Man, it's funny, man. It is funny. Well, first and foremost, I didn't read. I mean, my team kind of gave me the gist of what was put out. But it's 100%. It's a fact. Like, just think of the logic, okay? Just real quick. Just think of the logic of us coming up with the bright idea to call him out of the blue and try to pluck his head trainer, knowing that it's going to be a rematch. But just pause on that topic for 1 second. He incriminated himself by saying, if they would have took my offer, I might be over there. What does that say about him or his team and what's going on?
Well, let's get this straight. First of all, you know, the fact that they threw me in the bus doesn't speak well for them, because they called me initially. I didn't call. Why would I reach out to them? I'm with Sergey, and they called me and, you know, made me an offer. But out of loyalty, and then I stay with you know, with Sergey. He may not be champion now, but he's still, you know, we've been together. I was with him before he won the title, so why wouldn't I stick with him? And you know, I left. You know, I just kept it hush hush. But they decided, I guess, that now they want to try to make it and get inside his head with that. But I'm still here, so you know, it's not a problem.
It's obvious that he says, I just talked to John, that they reached out to him, but the conversation did happen. What did you hear about this, and how did you feel about hearing this?
You know, people can say everything and what they want, you know, but let's to see on a fact. We're now still to working together, like, and it means that it's bullshit. What people saying around us, you know, like. We're still working together, and we will kick over this in rematch June 17.
The truth's gonna come out, and I'm gonna let my team put it out however they want to put it out. It's too much. It's too much of a trail. It's called damage control.
Why not accept that offer?
Sorry. Well, first and foremost, let me just give you the real gist of it, how it happened. You know, my attorney has a relationship with John David. They've got some fighters that they work with together, et cetera, et cetera. And before the fight, they didn't do much talking. Obviously, it was what it was. And then after the fight, you know, he reached out and just started complaining about the way he was being treated. You know, he was complaining about the fact that whoever the Russian coach was, I don't know, that he wasn't able to talk in the corner, that right before he walked out to the ring, he was told he can't talk after a certain point in the fight, which I think everybody saw, and that he couldn't even understand the guy that was talking, so he didn't know the instructions that were being given to Kovalev. He was talking about how just Kovalev is just nasty with him. And, I mean, how would I know that? He talked about how he would love to join our team because we seem like good people, and Andre seemed like a good person to work with, and I don't think, you know, I think I would get along with Virgil. So when he brought that up, my team did what they were supposed to do. They vetted the situation. You know, they told me about it. Virgil's moving around training fighters, so he and I hadn't had a chance to talk. And as we deliberated about it, You know, they went back and forth and talked or whatever. Then I think he came with some outrageous demand money-wise, and my team was like, listen, man, like, it's not going to happen. Like, in other words, we're doing you a favor, like bringing you in. You know, I respect John David. He's a former fighter, former champion. And, you know, with him saying the way he was being treated, I'm looking at it like, look, man, like, you obviously were on the other side, and I didn't take personal the stuff you were saying before the fight, but let's see if it makes sense. Now, only problem with that is once I digested it, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out if you're doing this to your top man, I can't trust you in the gym. And that's basically the conclusion me and Verge came to in about 2 minutes. Once we finally did get a chance to talk, we both agreed. A, I didn't want anybody taking anything away from Verge in the second fight. Oh, you guys needed John David Jackson. And B, I like peace in the gym, you know, and I only want people in here that are with the team, for the team, and people that can be trusted. And that's the individual that even if you have him sign paperwork, you don't know what he's doing at night in his hotel room with the other side. So if he's doing that to his guy, what would he do to this side? So we killed the situation, and then it came out when it came out. But I have one of the best trainers in the world. And no disrespect to John David, but that's not the first time we fought John David. That was the second time we fought John David. And John David hasn't done anything, in my perspective as a trainer, to make me want to ditch my trainer, add to my trainer. My trainer's enough. Even early in my career, when I got knocked down and people were like, oh, you need a pro trainer, I stuck with my godfather because I know he's the guy. And he showed that in the last fight that he's the guy. So there's absolutely no reason for us to want to reach to the other side. Like, that's not even part of my character. I wouldn't even think about doing something like that. But what happened is he got in too far. He got in too deep. And even during the deliberating process, he gave up way too much information about what had been going on, what was going on in their camp, why he was unhappy, disgruntled, et cetera, et cetera. That's why you didn't see him at any of the press conferences. They were negotiating to see if he was going to come back. That was the whole thing. So if you look at my career, every interview I've done, I don't make stuff up, man. I don't play games. I'm a straight shooter. Like, that's a fact. That happened. Now, how they handle it and deal with it on their side, that has nothing to do with me. But the reality is him being a former fighter, he broke a cardinal rule. You don't do that. This is a very sacred place, the gym. What happens in the gym stays in the gym. And I feel like even if you had a situation, that's one thing if he broke ties and said, I'm done, you know, I would love to come over there and these are the reasons why, and he never went back, you can kind of respect that more. But playing both sides, we're not going to fall for that. And that's why we didn't accept him on the team.
Do you feel like this is all just mind games, or is there something to discuss here?
I think the games are being played in their own minds, and this is wishful thinking. Look, you saw them work out together today. That's very functional from what I can see. Sergey was exhausted last time. He overtrained. It's the truth. When we were here last time on this day, you know, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks before the fight, it was like a different person. He was tired and listless. Today, he is like the crusher's back. So he got a new personal training coach who took over who stops him from training too much. That's basically been the guy's job. And he's doing a very good job of it. And Sergey's listening to him, and which is, you know, one of the things about Sergey, part of what makes him great, is that he doesn't listen to anyone.
What is the new coach, bringing to the table, and what is the relationship there? I mean, obviously, if they've called, they must have thought that there was a reason you might be willing to switch.
Well, whatever their reasons are, that's their reasons. I didn't do it, and I stayed with Team Kovalev. As far as the conditioning coach, maybe he figured he may have felt that the first coach may have overtrained him, because there was a lot of, I mean, it's crazy 14-mile-a-day runs. You know, I mean, you're not fighting that boxing marathon. You're fighting a 12-round fight. So, you know, for whatever reason, he changed his conditioning coach, and then that's all this guy does is strictly condition. The boxing part is mine, and if it helps him mentally and as well as physically, then, you know, make that change. That's not my field, so I leave that alone. I stick with the boxing part of it.
Last thing on this point, you said they called you, they made you an offer. Did you consider the offer? And then secondly, did you feel like it was a betrayal of your confidence to make that public?
Well, you know, listen, I get lots of offers from lots of different people for, you know, certain fighters, and I took it with a grain of salt. Listen, if they'd have met my offer, who knows? But my offer,
better offer.
I don't know, you know. But listen, the fact that they made the offer is that they needed the help. Because I know Sergey better than anybody as far as boxing goes. But I wasn't gonna leave. I've been here since before on the title, and I just want to, see it through the end.
Radio Raheem with John David Jackson, trading Sergey Kovalev for Andre Ward. Good luck.
Thank you.